At the 1974 Miss Universe beauty pageant at the Folk Arts Theater in Manila, the famed Bayanihan dance troupe brought to an international television audience the grace and elegance of the dance Singkil. It was utterly mesmerizing, absolutely one of the best performances by a Filipino folk dance group, but more importantly, one of the best performances of what was then a relatively unknown Filipino dance. However, the version of the Singkil that won fame and praise internationally, that seeming to depict a royal Maranao wedding, is apparently more theatrical than historical. According to Maranaos scholar Abdullah Madale, Singkil is rooted in the Darangan, a centuries-old Maranao epic that was passed down orally and only later transcribed. In one episode, Princess Gandingan finds herself caught in an earthquake or magical storm while traveling, symbolizing a moment of great peril. Her grace and dignity in navigating danger became the basis for the dance, the clashing bamboo poles representing the chaos around her. The princess moves through this hazard without panic. It is a coming-of-age moment, not a romantic one. There is no rescue and no prince. In fact, the original Singkil was performed solo by young noblewomen, accompanied by female attendants holding fans or parasols to signify her royal rank. The purpose was not to entertain, but to display a young woman's poise, inner strength, and readiness for adult responsibilities within the Maranao nobility. This version, performed during cultural occasions within the Maranao community, predates Islam and reflects an indigenous worldview. The epic itself, the Darangan, was recognized by UNESCO in 2005 as a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. It is one of the longest-known epics in Southeast Asia with over 72,000 lines. Over time, however, Philippine dance companies, most prominently the Bayanihan Folk Dance Company, adapted Singkil for theatrical presentation. In doing so, they added new elements that were not part of the original tradition. Chief among these was the introduction of a male dancer, often portrayed as Prince Bantugan, who appears to escort or rescue the princess. While Bantugan is indeed a central figure in the Darangan, he does not play a role in this particular scene. His presence was added to give the performance a clearer narrative arc for audiences unfamiliar with the source material. The wedding theme, now commonly associated with Singkil, likely arose from the royal costumes, the umbrella, and the courtly gestures, all of which suggest formality and nobility. But as Madal has emphasized, Singkil was never a wedding dance. It was a ceremonial display of grace under pressure, tied to the identity and social training of Maranao women of high rank. To be clear, the Bayanihan Company did not set out to distort the tradition. Their innovations were meant to dramatize and popularize Filipino cultural expressions on the world stage, especially in the 1950s and 60s when the Philippines was asserting its post-colonial identity. Their stylized Singkil became iconic for a reason. It was visually stunning and emotionally compelling. Yet it is important that we now begin to make distinctions between what is theatrical and what is traditional, between what was adapted and what was inherited. Not to diminish what Bayanihan achieved, but to give the Maranao people, especially their women, the credit for preserving a profound artistic expression long before it reached global acclaim. What Singkil teaches is not just how to move between poles, but how to carry oneself with dignity in the most uncertain of moments. That is a message that has endured from the shores of Lake Lanao to the global stage, even if not everyone has heard it in its truest form. What's your favorite Philippine folk dance? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories about our rich culture. Thanks for watching.